see that? Most of us eat about 152 pounds of sugar a year. That's a whole entire person. And today we are going to get into some of the other bad raps that sugar have. I just mentioned to you how sugar is the only English word that begins with SU, who has a sh sound. And we can prove it. I have a few words that we pulled up, and as we go through some of the words that begin with SU, we will get into some of the characteristics of sugar. And oh my goodness, I just realized I forgot the B in that. Make believe there is a B in subject because it begins with SU. You know, when I was doing that, I knew it looked weird. Subject. Do you hear that? It's not the same as sugar. Shu. And today the subject is sugar. Do you realize that most of the sugar that you eat right now is made from beets? So when you're eating sugar, when you have things with sugar in it, you're basically having your vegetables. Yay for that. You are having your vegetables when you have sugar. Did you know that? The other rest, of course, it comes from the sugar cane like you would expect, but 55% of the sugar that you eat here in America comes from the sugar beet. And it's a whole long process to make sugar. It's a 7-step process, and each of the steps actually has steps within the steps. There's adding sulfur, they're adding beads to make it crystallize, they're filtering, they're spinning. All this type of thing is happening just for you to have that white stuff that sweetens your food. It's really interesting. I mean, do you all want to hear the 7 steps? I mean, maybe you do, maybe you don't. And sorry, I dropped my pen, but I'm going to tell you all anyway. So first, of course, you know, they have to harvest the sugar, and then they have to prepare it. Then they have to juice the beets because you're having your vegetables when you have your sugar. Then they have to purify the juice that they make. Then they crystallize it. Then they have to dry it and package it. It's a whole thing. What I'll do when I'm finished, I'll link the whole article if you're interested in knowing exactly how sugar is made. Sugar gets a bad rap, and I don't know, you know, as I look at how it's made, I wonder, like, who was sitting there? Which person? Because sugar's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Which person sat there and look at a beet, look at a sugar cane? I'm like, you know what? If I go through this 7-step process, I could end up with this powdery substance that will just enhance my palate. I don't know who did that, but somebody did. And here we are with sugar. And I'm going to talk about today some of the things that can happen to your body when you have sugar. Why is sugar even important? And why does it also get a bad rap? Does that bad rap that it has, is it real? Let's go on to the next criteria of sugar. And we look again, it's sugar and surge. Sugar is the only word in the English language that begins with SU that is pronounced sh. Surge. What does surge have to do with anything? When you eat sugar, it actually surges, especially table processed sugar is what I'm talking about. You get a surge in your blood sugar. What is the issue with the sugar is that it's not wrapped in that fiber cocoon. When you have sugar in any kind of fruit, it's wrapped in fiber. And because of that fiber, it slowly releases into your bloodstream. When you have it unpackaged, when you have it in your Frappuccino, your apple pie, your Costco apple pie, which is my absolute favorite dessert, one of my absolute. As a matter of fact, let me stop for a second. All these desserts that I'm featuring are my favorite dessert. And the reason I'm even having them up there, because I'm on a no sugar rampage. Rampage? I'm going to stop eating sugar. I'm going to stop having sugar, like that's added sugar, not the sugar that naturally occurs in our foods. I've decided that I'm going to just stop eating it. And I'll tell you more about that as we go through today's presentation. But yeah, so the sugar is no longer wrapped in this fibrous cocoon that prevented it from poof, just jumping in your body and just doing its thing. And what sugar does, it actually activates the pleasure centers. It's a pleasurable thing. You know it. I know it. We love sugar. Yes, yes. It's a wonderful thing. And when it's activating that dopamine area of our brain, there's some people that actually have gone as far and feel that they're addicted to sugar. It's not necessarily addiction because you all know the addiction, to be addicted to something, there's certain criteria about it. You have to have cravings. It has to control your life. There has to be some consequences with you actually having the sugar. And then there is also the compulsion that you must have it. And I'm looking at it like, well, yeah. Sometimes I feel compelled to have me an apple pie or a Snicker bar. Sometimes I feel like it controls me, like lifts me up and drags me to the store to get me a Snicker bar. There is some compulsion there, but most experts will agree it's not a true addiction. It doesn't meet the full criteria. But, I will beg to differ because there are sometimes I just feel like if I don't have something sweet to eat right now, somebody's going to die. Somebody finna get the full wrath of Dr. D Nice. Happiness, what? No. You're about to get some badness. All right. So that's the surge that happens with sugar, the attach of the dopamine centers in your brain. The substitute sugar. You see that, the SU, it's, once again, you look at the word substitute, and it's sugar. I would like for you to find an English word that has that sh sound if you think you think we're wrong, but I'm not. But the substitute sugar. So you're saying, yeah, maybe what I'll do is just get something, a substitute, a healthy substitute for sugar. Since I've heard that it's not good for me, I'm no longer going to have it. Well, guess what? The substitutes are worse. They've shown that some of the things like migraines, irritable bowel, weight gain, even diabetes, once you stop some of those substitute sugars that we eat, they get better. And the pink packaging equal and those things that once you stop them, some of these things actually get better. It gets better, and then you would think that, oh, maybe it's causing it. There have been people that actually states that some of these sugar substitutes are actually causing you to be sicker. Do y'all hear that, teenagers? Some of these things. I mean, you got to be careful. Once you start messing with nature, it never goes well. Then what should you have as a sugar substitute if you don't want to have the white powdery stuff that is made from sugar beets? You can have you can add dates. Some people use dates when they bake. I'm not going to lie. I've tasted a cake baked with dates before. It don't taste the same. It don't. It don't. But monk fruit, I've never had that. It sounds interesting. Honey, I do like honey because honey also has some immune effect. It can help out your immune system. Stevia, that's a natural thing. It's from a plant. Or you just can adjust your taste buds. Sometimes our taste buds, not sometimes, but our taste buds would absolutely adjust when we deny it sugar. It takes about a couple of weeks, and before you know it, you start eating stuff that you used to eat, and you're like, man, I used to like that. Why is that so sweet? That's how I'm going to be in 2 weeks. Because Monday, I actually started my no sugar journey. I'd done it before. What was it? 2016, I went from Halloween, from before October, the beginning of October, to January 1st, absolutely no processed sugar. Fruits, yes, I had, but nothing with added sugar. And it's the craziest thing. what I noticed was like my eyebrows, like they became thicker, and my skin, of course, looked better the whole time when I got off of the sugar. I actually even lost 6 pounds. I had a whole Facebook group that I challenged myself and a bunch of friends to stay off the sugar, and we did it. We did it. It wasn't. It was. It was. Man, one day maybe Friday when we're doing our thing, I will pull up the whole Facebook post and you can look through some of the posts that we had. But let's keep going through our finding out more about sugar. So this is another S word: suffering and sugar. Nope, suffering. It just has the sound, and sugar still has the sh. Yeah, it's the only word in the English language that has that sh sound. What kind of suffering can you expect from sugar? Is it that bad for you? And once again, all these snacks that you see are some of my faves. I used to have a Snicker bar every single day when I was in the 8th grade and the 9th grade. Every single day that we were in school, that I went to school. If I didn't go to school that day, I didn't have my Snicker bar. It was like I was an addict. But did it qualify as an addiction? Probably not, because it didn't have the consequences, the control, and the other two C's. Anyhow, the suffering, cavities. That processed sugar can cause cavities. It can cause, there are even some people that feel it as actually even fuel for cancer cells. There is also the skin things that's associated with sugar, cancer, wrinkles. You're young now, and maybe wrinkling is not a big, huge deal for you, but you can tell your mama and them that if they don't cut out the sugar, their skin is going to look horrible. And let's not forget about the decreased energy that you can have with sugar. What happens is, going back to the the quick surge of blood sugar to your body, how it hits your brain, hits your body really quickly. And your body, there's a whole physiological thing that's happening. The insulin that is meant to help your body store the sugar goes up, and then all the sugar gets rushed into the cells, and then there's no sugar left because it overcompensates for how much insulin it needed to put out, and then you end up with nothing, no blood sugar, no sugar in your body whatsoever. And the next step, we're going to really talk about why sugar is even important. It gets a bad rap, but it's important. We still need sugar. But when you have that surge and that quick pickup into the cell, you're left with nothing, and you're left with nothing. No energy, feel fatigued just from having sugar. All right. Then our next one. Sugar and super. This one is, well, sugar is really a source of energy. I know, like I said, it gets a bad rap, but that's how we get our energy. If you think of all the foods that we eat ultimately turns into glucose. The protein ultimately turns into glucose. The fat ultimately turns into glucose. And any types of food, the carbohydrates is just change of glucose. And when we think of sugar, ultimately it all turns to glucose. And I'm saying that because glucose, I don't want y'all to be like upset with me or mad at me for bringing this next thing up, but the Krebs cycle. Do you all remember that citric acid cycle? That's how the cellular respiration, where cells make energy. Well, what happens is one glucose molecule enters a cell into the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. That's why this section is called super. It enters the mitochondria, which is all our bodies are made up of millions and millions and millions of cells, and inside each cell is thousands and thousands of mitochondria, depending on the part of the body. Muscle cells have more because they need a lot of energy. One glucose molecule, when it goes through this Krebs cycle, can make up to 30 to 32 units of energy to power your body. Sugar is important. It gets a bad rap. The bad rap it gets is because people have stripped it from the sugar beet, stripped it from the cane sugar, the sugar cane, and made it into this powdery thing. If you just have the sugar cane or the sugar beet, you're good. When you strip it from its little, like have it run around naked like that and looking all like a porn sugar, that's when it becomes the problem. Let me know below what is your favorite dessert. I showed you all mine, and like I said, Dr. D Nice, I have been a week now, no sugar, and I plan to absolutely stay away from sugar henceforth. There, I have my reasons. We'll talk. Do y'all want to even know why? We'll talk about it another time. Or should we talk about it now? But these are my favorite desserts. Cheesecake, no more cheesecake for me. And honestly, I don't even feel a craving. Snicker bar, I told you about my Snicker bar thing. 1 Snicker bar a day for my freshman year in high school and my middle school, last year of middle school. Oh, this one, I didn't tell you this story this one is strictly because of this ice cream that is only sold at Wegmans, why I gained so much weight during the pandemic. I was eating this for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, bowls and bowls, and sitting at my desk eating all the time. If y'all still eating ice cream, this stuff, you got to go get it. It's only at Wegmans, and this particular flavor. If you're not allergic to nuts, go check it out. It's so good. Costco apple pie. There's no apple pie better than this. Hands down. Fight me on that one. And pecan pie. Y'all need to go back and check out my pecan pie story where I tried to make it for myself. What other factors do you all know about sugar that you would like for us to discuss? These are the ones that I really wanted you all to know about. And then don't forget the other SU word that is not pronounced like sugar is. It's subscribe. And I would love for you all to make sure you're subscribed to this channel where I teach you how to be happy and how to understanding your body, because wellness plus wisdom equal happiness, and understanding your body is definitely one of the first steps to wisdom. All right, any questions?